Have you ever felt like, oh, this person does not love me, even though they are proving everything or they're doing their very best to show you that they do? Have you ever said to somebody that, I don't think you love me, or I don't think you love me as much as I love you? Have you ever heard that anywhere? So Gary Chapman, after 35 years of counseling, came up with a book called The 5 Love Languages, and he said that there are 5 love languages out there, and one of them can be yours. And so if someone does not speak the love language of their friend, of their spouse especially, then you may be doing all your best, but then in the end your spouse or your partner or your friend will not feel loved. So what are the love languages? We have one as words of affirmation, we have quality time, we have receiving of gifts, we have touch, and then we have acts of service. So with these 5 love languages, let me break them down. So number 1, we have words of affirmation. For someone whose love language is words of affirmation, they prefer it if you say nice things to them. If you actually say very hurtful things, they really find it difficult to get over it, because that's how they feel loved. They feel loved when you say, oh, I like your shirt, or oh, this thing that you did, I really appreciate it, or oh, I really like the way you're doing this. They like compliments. They like it when they do something and you appreciate it. That's words of affirmation. And then we have quality time. With someone whose love language is quality time, they practically just want your time with them. They just want to spend time with you. They want to go out shopping with you. They want you to sit there face to face, just chatting. You may not see the reason for it, but like, you should just be there for them. You should chat with them. You should listen to them. A lot of times they talk and they just want you to be there to listen. With someone whose love language is quality time, if you're with them, you shouldn't be using your phone or watching TV or doing something else. They just need all your time, and with that they feel loved and they feel like, oh, this person really cares about me and is spending time with me. Then the next one is receiving of gifts. So yes, this actually is very common in a lot of women, but it's not really like it's an intentional thing. With the receiving of gifts love language, it doesn't really have to be anything big. It's not really about materialistic stuff. It's about the little things, like you pass somewhere and you pick a flower and you come and give it to the person and said, oh, I saw this flower, it reminded me of you. Or you pass by a shop, buy a drink or something, and you give it to this person, like, oh, I thought of you, I was coming over to see you, so here's something, or a chocolate or something. It's not really about the big gift. It's just the fact that you were somewhere and you thought of the person and you decided to just get something for the person to mark that. So with somebody like that, receiving of gifts, it's not about making a big gesture. It's just about the little and the tiny things. So number 4, we have acts of service. So with someone whose love language is acts of service, they really like it if they're doing something and you help them out. They like it if maybe they don't have to ask you, but you come and say, oh, do you need help with this? Or do you need me to do this for you? Or you can clearly see that maybe they're doing something and they are struggling. They may not even be struggling, but they just like you to just be helping them. They're in the kitchen. You come and you say, okay, if you're cooking, maybe I'll wash the dishes, or I'll cut the onions whilst you're doing the rest. Like, that makes the person feel very loved. And so that's someone whose love language is acts of service. They just like it if you're just helpful to them, and that makes them feel loved. You can give them gifts, they wouldn't feel that same way. You can spend time with them, they wouldn't feel that same way. You can say nice words to them and they may not feel that same way, but when you just help them out, they suddenly feel like, this person really loves me. So the last one is touch. So we're not talking about sex in this case. There are some people who they just like to just feel you close by, like hug you or sit close to you or everything. Maybe they'll just tap you or something like that. They just like it when you're very close by and when they can feel your presence. That's somebody's love language. You can meet It's not only with guys, actually. Some people think that, okay, the touch love language is just with guys. They just like to be touched, but there's some ladies who like their guys or their friends to just be very close, very like put your hand around them and walk holding hands, those kind of things. And it makes someone feel loved if you're able to do that. With the love language, I've heard people say, my love language is act of service, so I like to do things for people. No, your love language is not what you should be doing for somebody else. You have to find out what the other person's love language is, and then you act on it. So it's not about you and your love language and that's what you are doing for somebody else. Maybe if the person has a different love language, the person will not feel loved because you are not doing their love language. So these things are not things that you can just get up and read. You may get it wrong. So it's very important to ask your partner or ask your friend, what exactly is your love language? Or if they may not know, you can help them. I've come up with some tips that you can use to help. You can ask the person if the person does not know, because some people just don't know their love languages, but you can ask, what makes you happy? What is it that I do that makes you happy? Or what is it that someone else does for you that makes you happy? So that is one step in helping the person find out what their love language is. Also, sometimes our love languages are based on how we grew up. How was it in your house in the past? How did you grow up? What kind of love language were your parents giving you? Maybe they spent so much time with you, and so you grew up with that love language of quality time. So you can ask these kind of questions to be able to help someone find out what their love language is. If not, you can also go and Google love languages and take a test and find out what exactly is your love language, so that you can make it easier for your partner or for your friend. So if you know your love language and you can tell them about it, then they can be able to love you the way you have to be loved, or love you the way you want to be loved, and there'll be no problems. Because sometimes some people are trying hard. Maybe there's a guy who keeps showering his girlfriend or his wife with gifts. Whenever he's coming from a place, he passes by a shop or something and buys gifts, or he'll buy something. Meanwhile, maybe all she wants is that maybe she swept the house. You should just say, oh baby, the room looks good, or the house looks clean. Hers is the words of affirmation. So the gifts that you are giving, it's not that she doesn't feel like it's a great thing. It's just is not the way to love her, and it's not her fault if she wouldn't feel the impact of the gifts giving like that. You understand? Somebody to, maybe you decide that, okay, I'm going to say a lot of nice things, shower my woman or shower my man with words, nice words, and maybe all he wants is for you to spend time with him, not just shower him with words, just be there, just listen to him or her when they talk, and this will make them feel good. But if you are just showering them with words, somebody will say, oh, you're so sweet, like, you've got a sweet wife or you've got a sweet husband, but maybe that's not what he or she needs to feel loved. And we all have a love tank. If you are not filling up someone's love tank, it can get to a point where it's empty, and so it will require way more effort to be able to get full. It doesn't mean that, okay, what you're doing is a waste of time. Maybe they just have it just empty. It's like a fuel tank. They just have it empty, and so you have to put in more effort. But if you consistently do it, it means you wouldn't have to put in too much work at a particular point in time when maybe you things are not so good. Because when a person doesn't feel loved, they just withdraw, and then it becomes something else. Then it causes a lot of issues, it causes a lot of fights, it causes a lot of problems, which can actually be solved if you just are able to ask a person, what is it that I can do to make you feel loved? What is it that I do? And you work on it. You don't just ask the questions, you work on it, and you make sure that you are doing them. So let me know in the comment section what your love language is, or what you think the most important love language is to you. For more videos on relationships, I have my playlist up there, and so please don't forget to click on it, and don't forget to like my videos. And if you haven't subscribed, please, what are you waiting for? Please subscribe. Till another day, I say bye.